decide whether to keep it or not.
Wait, what's up with your Dutch Bros drink? What is that, actually?
That's what I was going to tell you.
That looks
They have these... No. They have these really good drinks out right now. One of them is a strawberry colada. Oh. Which is what that is. It's strawberry...
I see, little strawberry chunks.
Well, because there's strawberry chunks and... that sounds nasty. There's pieces of strawberry.
Strawberry chunks aren't nasty.
Sounds like you roughed it up.
No, because it's like smoothies have strawberry chunks in them. They're just chunks.
Just the word chunks, though. It's like blowing chunks.
But there's chocolate chunk cookies.
I don't think that sounds appetizing either.
Then chocolate chip?
Chocolate bit. I don't know.
Chocolate bit? Chocolate bit? Chocolate bit cookies?
Chocolate bits cookies. I don't know. Chocolate...
chocolate chip, I think is what you're going... But chocolate...
Well, yeah, there's chocolate chip.
But there's chocolate chip, if you got a Chips Ahoy, right?
Right.
You have the chocolate chip chunky, right? And that's
chunky's not bad though, but
why is chunk?
Because blowing chunks is
curling. But there's even people who say well, yeah, we have some bacon chunks in this.
That sounds gross.
That doesn't sound gross. Yes. It's not saying well, we got some bacon turds in here. That's not
bacon chunks. Works. Anything chunks sounds nasty. I don't know. Anyway, but back to this. It's a crap.
What is it?
It's a strawberry colada. It's got strawberry coconut with
I can see the coconut.
Sweet cream and
shavings.
Strawberry
the shavings
pieces.
Gross.
Strawberry pieces. No, shavings is fine.
But then you're man, shavings. It's like hair. I could use the same. I could use the same logic.
I mean, I guess, but you don't use shavings as to my knowledge, a euphemism for something else. But you do use blowing chunks or curling chunks to be I routhed all over the floor.
I've never said I blew chunks. That's
maybe it was a 90s thing.
Might be. But I've never said that. I've always said, yeah, I threw up. Go
on, you need to watch more 90s movies. I think it was a 90s baby thing. I grew up in the 90s, so it was
maybe.
You blow chunks.
You blow chunks.
Because it just goes... Bleh.
Maybe.
I don't know. So chunks of strawberry, chunks of... I don't care what it is. It all
That's not really a modern slang for vomit nowadays. It's just kind of... You puke.
I hurled.
I hurled, yeah.
I'm sure...
I have not heard someone say Ralph in a long time.
That's another 90s thing.
Yeah, I haven't heard someone say that for... That was kind of an early 2000s thing. Or, barf. Or, stuff like that. It's not...
Seeing creativity has just seeped out of our society.
Yeah. And that's what we're talking about. There are no original stories in the... That's the segue.
No one has an original way to say
much like how no one has an original drink to make.
That's delicious, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But, there's nothing... I feel because this is what we're going to be mainly talking about, is that a bad thing? Mm-hmm. First and foremost. And is it even true? Because, in my opinion, no, it's not. There's still plenty of original ideas out there. There's, the whole idea of someone has already done that, right? There's a whole, I think it was South Park episode called The Simpsons Did That, which is basically where they're trying to, do jokes. And throughout the whole episode, every single joke, they're like, The Simpsons did that already. Mm-hmm. Because The Simpsons was around for a very long time, and, they went through a lot of different comedy tropes, and, they basically had almost cleaned out the sitcom, variety of what could be done in an animated sitcom. So, it's just... I don't personally believe it. I believe there's still always going to be original content, and, whether or not that content is derived from something doesn't make it any less original, I guess. You can still take inspiration from things and make something original from it. That doesn't make your idea any less original if you take some, I'm going to take, I like this thing. I'm going to take some inspiration from it. I'm not going to copy it, full force. I'm just going to take some She's just chewing on her foot.
I know. I'm listening. I'm just watching her because I need to make sure she's not rubbing her eye.
She's just chewing on her foot. But no, like, I'm not gonna copy it. I'm not gonna make a carbon copy of this thing.
Right.
I'm just taking some things that I like from it, and it's not even taking things like taking seems kind of a harsh word. It's more of like a adopting things from this piece of media that you really like. And you can still make original ideas from it.
Well,
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say on the flip side of that, too, though, is like my lovely drink from Dutch Bros here, a strawberry colada is not a revolutionary idea.
No.
But is it still delicious? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Do I still enjoy drinking it? Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the concept of originality is kind of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, this obsession with being original is what leads people to tape bananas to the wall and call that art.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
I almost feel like that's not even original. It's
not. No, modern art. I'm going to get into like a mini.
Because you're
modern
using
art is absolute bullshit.
Well,
hold on. Let me finish.
Okay.
It is this is my rant. It is a money moving racket, because if you cannot sell that thing without your name being attached to it, or without some sponsor going out and be like, oh, look at this genius of this banana duct taped to this wall. Doesn't everyone want to pay $10,000 for this goddamn banana?
Mm-hmm.
If you can't sell it as a nobody from Kansas, it's not art.
No.
It's a racket, it's a scam, it's bullshit. People need to stop it. But anyway, the other edge of originality, too, though, is telling yourself that you can't be original, I think also does something to you creatively, to the point where you're like, oh, okay, so if I can't tell an original story, or I can't try to be, a little different, or even not different, but just maybe not worry so much about what people think of it or whatever, but then, I can just tell this story in the exact same way that someone else has told it dozens of times, but just plug my characters into it, and ooh, look, it's something new now.
Yeah.
So, there's two kind of... There's the one side that tries way too hard to be original, and then there's the other side that uses the no originality BS as an excuse to be really, really, really lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was this book I was reading not that long ago. I picked it up in the airport, and it was actually really good for a while, but I got about a third into it, and all of a sudden it fell into its formula, and I was like, ugh, I know exactly where this is going.
Yeah.
So I skimmed through the rest of it, and I got to the end. I was like, yep, there it is. That's exactly where I thought it was going.
Yeah.
And so it's, and it's because the person had a cool, neat idea, but then she got about a third of the way into it and just fell back on the formulas and crap, because it's like, well, you can't tell an original story, but no one can tell you the story the way you do. I will, have it known, life lesson here, yes, they can, if you're not trying.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of goes with one of the books that I actually picked up, and I remember reading through it, and right off the bat, I read it and I was like, well, the writing isn't great, because I think I said this in episode 0. I'm a very descriptive person, and so I like that in my media. I don't like narration that is super vague and super broad and not at all descriptive of what's going on, because when that happens, I have a really hard time picturing anything in my head. If it's not if a character's eye color or facial structure or hair color or hairstyle isn't described to me at some point in the book, I will have no clue what to put into place of what that person looks like. And this book was very guilty of that. It would not give descriptions of any of the characters. They would just be like, yeah, she was a tall girl. Okay, well, that's cool. What does she actually look like, though? Like, that gives me nothing. Because then in my mind's eye, right, I just see everyone as, like, walking mannequins. But I read through it, and I read maybe about halfway through before I was like, I can't take this description anymore. And I decided to go on Goodreads because I like going and checking out, like, book reviews on Goodreads just to see what people are saying about it. And I found one pretty lengthy review about it, and they were saying it's a very unoriginal story. Everything that's been done in fantasy has been done before. And so he was wondering why this book series was getting so much hype. So he went to the very end of the trilogy. He bought the third book and just turned to, like, the final few chapters and just read those just to see how it ended. And then he's like, okay, now I understand why people really like this. Apparently the ending is super original and not something that really he's seen before. And it kind of makes me want to pick it back up and read it again. I just have to get through the slog of freaking reading the narration. But it's kind of interesting how you can make something very formulaic like that, but then you put in an extra, just last minute twist to it that makes it memorable and makes it stick in your head. I feel like that's a big thing with story structure in general. If you have a really good beginning, that will stick with you, even if the rest of it is like, not so good. And then if you have a really, like, amazing ending, it will stick with people. The problem with that, though, is if you have a really amazing ending, but the rest of it, you're going to have a very few people who are going to make it to that ending, because a lot of people are going to give up by that time. And so I think, like, this person had, I feel like the writer, I don't know, because I'm not in the writer's head, but I feel like the writer had this really cool ending in mind, and then wrote the rest of the book kind of just trying to get to that ending and not really taking the time and effort to make the rest of his story original, or, like, really fleshing it out and making it more detailed. And so I feel like that's kind of a danger with original ideas. Sometimes the original idea can be super focused, this is what I want to do, but you kind of, when you do that, you kind of throw away by the wayside a lot of the things that you need to make it work. Like, I've never really seen, like, one of the books that I'm working on, it's a Greek, well, not Greek, but ancient Bronze Age fantasy, because I've never seen many fantasy books that are set in Bronze Age, like Mesopotamian, like, culture sort of thing. And I really want to do that, but I have to keep reminding myself while I'm planning it out, you have to make sure not to make it formulaic or uninteresting.
Maybe it would be a good idea to kind of define too, like, what is when you say originality, what is that to you?
Originality means, to me at least, fresh. Something that I've never seen before. Even if it's bad, like, originality can still be bad, like you said, with the modern art. Even though, again, I wouldn't say that's originality, because you're using household items to do something, and so it's not really original.
No, but that's where the obsession, I think, with originality leads to. It leads to bananas on walls and books like, what was that one I read in college? Well, like, God, what was it? I didn't read that much of it, but I looked at it because one of my classmates had it. It was House of Leaves.
Oh, yeah.
Like
one of
stuff
my
is written
one of my
sideways and a whole.
one of my friends is a huge fan of that book.
Yes,
They
and
really
I
love that
think
book.
it's stupid. It's trying too hard.
Yeah,
But
like I've never read it, but
I was
I've
never into the literary scene.
I've heard about it. I've heard many things about it. I like the concept. I like that I know what the concept is, which is basically this book breaks the fourth wall often, and like the people are like the characters are like aware that they're in a book or whatever. I like that. That's cool. As long as it's done well, like that's fine. But yeah, originality is neither good nor bad. It's just something that's fresh and something new, something that I've never seen before. And I feel like that almost makes originality a little bit subjective, because it's kind of, eye of the beholder sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I can see that. I mean, for me, I think originality is just taking risks and not creating something to get it right, but creating something to create it. When I was younger, I was obsessed with originality. I was like, oh, I gotta do something new. I gotta do something different. And so, but what ended up happening is that I had all these ideas, and I threw almost every single one of them out. So I was like, oh no, that's too much like this, or that's too much like that other thing, or whatever. And so I think an obsession with originality can really screw you up. So for me, being original is just creating the thing you want to create and not worrying too much about the shoulds and shouldn'ts of it.
Yeah.
Especially in those initial phases.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how you get something that's genuine. I think that's how you get something that's authentic.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to, oh, well, I want to write a story and I have these characters and I have this world, which is, again, I'm kind of referencing the book I read partway through and I got tired of it. But I don't really have a story, so, like, I don't know, what story makes sense here? Oh, I guess, this story of, oh, we're gonna overthrow this kingdom and blah, 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 and we're gonna overthrow the power structure, and, like, so it's, like, I don't know, it's to me, it's not playing it safe.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go out and find, like, if I'm going to pick one of my favorite books, we'll go with Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman or Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. Mm-hmm. Two of them are excellent books. He's an excellent, amazing writer. But if you really boil it down to, basic elements, you can go find other things that are similar.
Yeah.
That doesn't make those any less, to me, original, because they're authentic, they're genuine, they're exactly what Neil Gaiman wanted to create.
Yeah.
And he didn't care if it was going to, quote-unquote, work.
Yeah, yeah.
He created it, and it happens to work because everyone loves his stories, and he actually is an incredible storyteller. But, and of course, nothing is in a vacuum, so originality is not the be-all, end-all.
Yeah.
But it is a conversation that definitely crops up, especially amongst younger creators.
Yeah.
That are obsessed with doing, like, the new thing. And, I mean, and it's worth remembering, too, that what was old can be new again. I mean, we just went and watched, well, not just, because it was last year, but that Nosferatu movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And for me, that was new. I hadn't seen it, but it was actually just rehashing something that was really old.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, no, it was also a passion project. Like, it was something that Roger Egger, who made that movie, he grew up on the original silent film. That was the thing that, like, introduced him to horror, and it made him want to become a director. Like, that was the film that spawned that. And so it was just a total passion project of taking an IP that he loved, like taking a movie that he loved, and just making it for a modern day with modern effects and modern makeup and with sound and, effects and stuff. So it's not original, no, but the way that he did it, I feel like, is. Like, originality comes in many different forms. Like, for example, you could have the most original idea on the planet, and it's use one of the books that I used to read when I was younger, Wereworld. Wereworld is a very original idea. I never really had thought about this kind of idea before when I read it way back when I was like in middle school, which is basically in this world there's a bunch of, it's like a fantasy world, but there's a bunch of were creatures. So there's werewolves, were lions, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And they kind of have their own like hierarchical social structure, like whether were lions like control the kingdom, but then like the werewolves have been all hunted to like extinction, and there's only one left. So already, as I'm describing this, you can probably already see what I'm talking about. Very original concept, but the world and plot itself was not original at all. It was very basic. I am the last of my kind, and there's an empire hunting me down. Mm-hmm. It like 100% that has been done before so many times. It's almost like Star Wars. like that's almost what it is, you know. So it's just, yeah, like originality comes in many different forms. You can have an original concept, but not original writing. You can have an original plot, but not original characters. It just kind of, it's such an amalgam, enigmatic thing. Mm-hmm. It can be anything, really.
Yeah, well, I think that brings up an interesting point, too, where we go back to the issue that I do have with formulas and with character archetypes. And, like, you know, don't get me wrong. Formulas, I think, are a good foundation. They're a good place to start if you don't know what you want to do. But like you just said, if you take original world building and original characters and then you drop it into a super formulaic, predictable story, you feel really let down. It's like, well, that sucks. Those are cool ideas, but the story is, well, I can't tell you how many of those I've run into. Yeah. And then the other way works, too, where you have a cool original story idea and a really interesting plot, but then you just drop character archetypes into it and expect it to work. It's like, well, that's really friggin' annoying, too. Yeah. So, I mean, I think a lot of it is just people have their strengths. Mm-hmm. Mine is definitely character and world building. I am not so strong on the plot. Other people, like you, are really, really good with the plot. Yeah. And the characters. Or maybe the world building. I don't know. What you think your secondary strength is?
I think it's the world building. I struggle with characters sometimes.
See, characters come to me first. Yeah. Almost always and exclusively, they come to me first.
It's usually the world that comes to me first, and then the plot, and then the characters is usually the...
I get the characters, I get the world, and then good lord do I have to fight for that damn plot to come out. But for me, I have figured out too, though, that because the characters in the world come to me so fast, and I'm not going to say easy, but fast, and I can sit there and I can work on them and I can develop them and I can, and it's not as much of a slog as me trying to figure out a plot. I've figured out that what I have to do then is not try to shove those characters in that world into a preformed plot, but I have to kind of let them inform the plot. Yeah. Like, okay, who are they? What's the world they're living in? What do they want? How are they going to get it? What's in their way? How are they going to respond to these things that happen? What actions are they going to take of their own volition so that they're not just reactive, boring-ass characters? And so that's the thing I figured out, but I think a lot of people just struggle because they're either strong and gifted with characters or they're strong with plot. And instead of working through the weakness and working through that God, this is not my favorite part, and holy crap, I suck at this, instead of working through that, they just pick something that's safe and easy and preformed and almost template-like, and they drop their stuff into there and they think it's going to work. It's like, well, maybe in the YA world where you haven't read hundreds of books in your lifetime, it probably does because you're getting a new, fresh audience every, 2 or 3 years. Well, every year someone grows up old enough to where they're interested in YA.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you get into adult fiction, I don't know. It's a little different because you've seen all this crap, so you can't just take that same stuff, and you have to work a little harder, I think.
Yeah.
And that's, and I think the standout YA stories too are the ones that do work at it a little harder.
Yeah.
Because that's not to bash on YA at all. I've read a lot of YA in my time. Sound like a 60-year-old, but I've read a lot of YA.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing wrong with YA, but it is one of those things where if you read enough of it, it all starts to feel the same. It's kind of like Brandon Sanderson's stories. If you read enough of them, they all start to feel the same.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for them early haters.
Yeah. like let's take for example, kind of a good example of not so original concept, but really good original characters and original world. I would have to say The Wheel of Time. Because when you look at The Wheel of Time, when you really take a step back and look at The Wheel of Time, it is just a longer form of Lord of the Rings in a lot of ways.
It's the chosen one story.
Yeah.
It's the savior. Savior story.
Yeah, but Robert Jordan manages to put in so much originality with not only his world building, some of the concepts that he has are so out there and wild that I absolutely love them. And not only that, but his characters are 100% original. I've never really seen a character. I've never seen a chosen one character quite like Rand. Spoilers, dude, like
you've got to get to the end of the series so you can get all the way through that man's arc.
I know.
One of the best.
I need to finish it, but it's so from what I've read of it, it's so good. It's incredibly well done.
That's my favorite though.
And and then you even look at the Magic of Recluse books, and those are again very kind of a not so much a original idea, but very original world, because I'm gonna flip it around. The black wizards are the good guys, and the white wizards are the bad guys. Because white, but then you realize that they're that way for a reason, is because the black wizards are order wizards, so they make everything order. They use the magic of order, and black is the absence of everything, basically meaning that it is complete order. And white wizards are chaos wizards, and white is like every single color in the universe combined into one, and so they're chaotic because they have all these different things going into them. So the symbolism there is really cool. But he puts in super original characters, a super original plot that I've never seen before. And I really like Saga of Recluse. I don't know if I mentioned that at all in episode 0, but those books are really worth the read. They're very good. I will warn you, they're not a continuous story. If you do decide to pick up those books, they are an anthology series, so they take place in the same world, but at different points in time and with different characters. And I really want to get through all of them so that way I can read them in release order, and then I can read them in chronological order afterwards, because that'd be fun. But yeah, no, I mean, even something like Harry Potter, right? A magical school for gifted, students. It's been done before. That's X-Men from the 40s. That's been done before, but I feel like she puts enough originality in the characters. And not so much the plot, but the characters for sure. And I think that's the thing that most people remember from those books are the characters. Like...
And the world.
Yeah, and the world.
The world
like,
is amazing.
Like, most people don't really talk about the plot of Harry Potter. Because it's kind of your basic plot. It's the least
interesting part.
Yeah. But the characters and the world kind of hold it up, and that's why it has as big a fan base as it does.
But, I mean, Harry Potter is a great example of originality and how how you can accomplish it, and maybe this isn't probably the only way you can do it, but it is one way. I mean, so like you just said, she has this story, and it's the kind of chosen one, destined to fight off the evil Dark Lord type of storyline. And she has character archetypes in the sense of you have Harry, who's the hero, you have Ron, who's the best friend, you have Hermione, who's
the smart one.
The smart one, yeah. / later love interest for Ron.
And Ron is kind of the goofball.
Right, he's the goofball, he's the best buddy. You have...
Draco the bully.
And the rival kind of. The antagonist for sure. You have, so you have all of these character archetypes. I don't have to list a billion of them, but you have a lot of them. So it's not like she doesn't use archetypes, but what she does is she doesn't stop there. She layers. She puts so many layers down on top of those archetypes until they're not archetypes anymore. They're fully fleshed out characters. Yeah. And I think that's another problem people run into is that you take an archetype, you take, a story formula or whatever, and then you don't go any further than that. You just kind of stop there and like, I'm going to plug my stuff in and here we go. I just wrote a book. I'm like, well, yeah, you did, but it's kind of blah because you didn't do anything interesting. So like so she layers that. The world is the most original part of Harry Potter. And then those two things, because the world is so well done, and because the characters are so deep and real feeling, those two things kind of carry the plot. You care what's going to happen. Yeah. Even though you can maybe kind of call it, especially when you're older. But that's another thing worth pointing out, too, is she didn't write that for an older audience. No. She wrote that, especially the first few books, for a very, very young audience. Yeah. And so, there's that, too. But, I mean, I've read them as an adult. I just read them a few years ago. They're still some of my favorite books ever written. And I do love how they grow with the audience. They mature with the audience, with the original audience. So the original kids she was writing for, those are the same people she was writing for when she wrote that last book. Like, she understood that you have to grow with the audience because your audience is going to grow up and they're going to want more mature themes and everything. But that's a great case study of like, you don't need originality everywhere. I think it's almost not even, it's less about originality and more about effort. And how much you're willing to put into it. And in that sense, how big of a risk you're willing to take. I mean, her world and the way it's written and the characters, that could have totally blown up in her face. Oh, yeah. There were a lot of publishers, in fact, that wouldn't touch it because it was so off the wall and weird. And they're like, no, there's no market for this. Yeah. And she just happened to have a good agent. I think this is the story anyway. She happened to have a decent agent who kept pushing. And they finally found a smaller press in England that was like, yeah, okay, we'll take it. We'll see what it does. And it's like the biggest literary phenomenon of our time that still to this day no one's topped.
No one's beat it out.
No. Nothing is more of a cultural institution, even with the political bullshit that goes on around here right now, which I don't even get me started on that. But nothing is more. I mean, people identified themselves based on their Hogwarts house. Yeah. Decades.
They still do.
People still do.
Yeah, they still do.
Everyone knows what Harry Potter is. So yeah, it's not so much about originality. Some originality helps, but that's only going to take you so far too. Because I mean, you can go. I mean, I'm trying to think of where it's gone the opposite way, right? So where you have something that's oh yeah, this is original and new and it looks exciting. But then the effort and the heart and the soul just isn't there.
Yeah.
And so you're like, I can't think of something right now, but if I do, I'll bring it up. But, like, another really good example is Freerun, though.
Yeah.
At Journey's End. The most boring part of that show is the world building for me, because it's just a generic fantasy world. Now, the demons are cool. Mm-hmm. I do like them.
Yeah.
But the world itself is pretty freaking generic. But
I like how magic works. I like the magic
No,
system.
magic system's fine.
And I like how they slowly build up with like the elves not having a very high sex drive. Mm-hmm. And so they're super rare because they don't have that reproductive instinct. Mm-hmm. Like, they almost have to force themselves to reproduce. Like, that's just super interesting to me. And not something that you see done very often. Or mentioned very often.
Right. But those are just a few little tiny details in this otherwise fairly generic fantasy world. At least as far as what we've seen in the anime. But then you have these characters that are, again, so layered and so deep and so multifaceted that you care about what happens to them. And then the plot, too, is, something that you don't see often, if ever. Really.
Yeah, no.
In Western media, you never see something that just kind of meanders its way along. But I love that about it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I fell in love with an anime that we watched recently. That only the first episode is out at the time of recording this, which is Clevitas. I don't know about you. When we first watched that, I was blown away by that show. Mm-hmm. I have never seen a story quite like that. Especially, like, opening up. Like, I'm like, whoa, okay, that's super unique. By the way, guys, if you have Crunchyroll account, go watch the first episode of Clevitas. It's really good. And I'm super excited because I have no idea where it's gonna go. Mm-hmm. And it's super original. Like, I've never really thought of a world quite like that. It's kind of Attack on Titan-esque, right? Where they don't really know much about the outside world because they're kind of trapped in where they are. Mm-hmm. But then you have, like, all these different races that live within this pocket of the world. And you have freaking, like, tensions there between those races. Mm-hmm. Not to mention the dark beasts surrounding them. So it's like, you get the feeling immediately right off the bat that this is a world of severe conflict that you're gonna see throughout the show. And it just makes me excited to see it. But I do love the idea of this Dark Lord, spoilers, adopting a baby, even though it's in the description of the show itself. But like this Dark Lord basically adopting a baby and deciding to see how it grows up.
Mm-hmm. Dark Demon Lord.
Yeah, Demon Lord, yeah.
Yeah. He's a
Shadow Beast
Lord.
Lord.
Dark Beast.
Yeah, he's like a Shadow Beast Lord or whatever. But yeah, he's adopting this child that he like killed. Like, he killed a whole bunch of people to get it, or not even to get it. He just so happened to pick it up, and he has to decide what he's gonna do with it, and that's just super interesting to me. Mm-hmm. And again, that we'll get into that more when we talk about Eastern versus Western storytelling. But yeah, like the amount of original stuff coming out of like just the East, out of Japan and Korea, is just, and even China is just amazing. Like, one of the, our favorite story ever, our favorite series ever, One Piece, has a super generic setup, which is, it is a treasure hunt. That's it. That is the, right.
That's also the end of the generic part of One Piece.
That's also the end, of the generic part of One Piece, because Oda is one of the, in my opinion, one of the biggest creative minds that we will probably ever see in our lifetimes. This man's mind is a labyrinth of just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. And it's like, it's even hard to tell what he's thinking when he's writing these characters, but that's not a bad thing, because like you almost have like faith in him that he's gonna stay consistent with it. And you know, sometimes he falters, but everyone will.
Especially when you've been writing something for 20 plus years.
yeah, for nearly a quarter of a century.
Yeah.
You know, like that's gonna happen.
And drawing it.
And drawing it, yeah. You've been writing and drawing it.
His work ethic is insane, dude. I don't know how he does that. I mean, I love writing, I love storytelling, but I have other shit I have to do too.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't... The man is impressive, to say the least.
Yeah. But, like, who would even think of a main character quite like Luffy?
Well, that's...
It's just...
The thing, though, I think people have the capacity to, but everyone's afraid to do it. Like, Oda's a good example of what I was saying before, where it's originality, a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it comes from being willing to take risks and do something that's a little out there and a little odd. And J.K. Rowling did the same thing.
Yeah.
With her world, and even just the way she writes, the narrative style, especially in that first book, is very, very different. Now, I think it might be a little more typical to England.
Yeah.
Because Neil Gaiman kind of has a
similar,
further out, what do you call that? Almost third person omniscient. Almost.
Yeah.
But not, like, but it phases in and out, though. You have third person omniscient, and then it'll phase into third person limited, I think, or like that's the scale.
Yeah. And
I think that's maybe a little more typical of England, but it's still, you know, with the world and everything, and even just the genre, because children's literature was dead when she wrote Harry Potter.
Yeah.
That's another reason it took off as much as it did, but it was also a huge risk because no one was buying it. None of the publishers were buying those books.
Yeah.
But because she took a risk, and because Oda doesn't censor himself, the man has no filter.
No.
They've created two of the most iconic stories of the last... I mean, since Star Wars?
Yeah.
Probably? I'll say since Star Wars.
Since Star Wars.
Since the freaking 70s.
I mean, you look at...
Not the new Star Wars crap, the original stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you look at One Piece, especially over in Japan, it's less so over here, but over in Japan, it's basically their Harry Potter. Like, yeah, it's everywhere. Everywhere you turn, it's One Piece. Everybody knows what it is. And, you know, that's starting to come over here, but even less so, because, again, for some reason, Westerners have this odd, like, we have this odd wall that, like, us as a society, yeah, we live in a society, us as a society, like, cannot or will not break through. Like, nobody is... Because, I mean, like, man, I was reading the other day. Now, this is still staying within the realms of, you know, originality and all of that. But I was reading the other day some of the lore that people have put out into the Star Wars Legend canon. Like, back when the Legend stuff was still canon. Before Disney bought it. And some of the concepts that those guys came up with in their books, their comics, their video games were so unbelievably cool and original and unique and dynamic, and they just built upon the world, and they fully embraced the weirdness of Star Wars as a concept. And man, what if we made a whole planet that's like Venice, where it's just rivers going across different places and people travel by like little ferry boats but it's all infested by these like anteater looking guys. Like, and like that's cool. That's really freaking cool, and that's super unique. But like, then Disney bought it, and all of that went away. And for some reason, us as a society just accepted that. And I've never seen a cowing that was as bad as the Star Wars fandom when it came to Disney buying it. Like, where it was almost a settling for good enough when you should have been people should have been outraged. Like, I was pissed off when Legends was decanonized because it got rid of all the uniqueness and all of the interesting stuff that you could do with it. Why would you have... You literally got given, like, a pot of gold of just world building, years and years and years, decades of world building to draw from, and you threw it all away. That makes no sense. And you decided instead to make the most formulaic garbage that is completely unoriginal, that has no soul, no heart. It's just corporate garbage, and it's so bad. Well, I will never not be pissed off about Star Wars. It will always be the thing that I will always look back on, and I will always be like, I can't believe that happened. Mm-hmm. That is such a travesty and such a tragedy.
It is, but that's what Disney is now. They are just an empty corporate husk. I mean, that's the problem with them, is that they don't have a soul anymore.
Yeah.
As a company, they have no soul. They have no identity.
Well,
they have nothing except for the same. Oh, we're going to tell this Jedi story, and now we're going to tell this Jedi story, and now we're going to tell this Leia story.
Well,
Only we're going to call it Obi-Wan, but it's not actually Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
It's freaking Leia.
Well, it's also not even Obi-Wan, because he's acting completely out of character of what he would be, like, of anything that resembles that character.
Yeah. It's a whole rabbit hole.
But no, it's like, it's just so befuddling to me that you...
Well, I think that goes back.
You decided to not keep it. You decided to not play it safe to keep it with the original canon, and take a risk on new canon. But that risk was playing it safe. Like it makes no sense.
No, I think that it does go back to that fear. I think that they did play it safe. They tried to basically just give you the same story that you'd already seen before.
Yeah.
But for a modern audience, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Which is one of my freaking... It's beyond a pet peeve.
Yeah.
That whole phrase and that whole way of thinking just annoys the... Gets under my skin. It just pisses me off.
Yeah.
But, you know, they just gave you... And that's, they could have done it different. They could have made it... They could have twisted it.
They could have saved it.
They could have done something really freaking cool.
Yeah.
But they didn't, because they don't have the creative capabilities anymore. Disney just doesn't. I'm sorry, they're creatively bankrupt.
Yeah.
You cannot point me to anything they've created in the last 10 years and tell me that was excellent, that was amazing, that was groundbreaking. No, it was garbage. It was, like you said, empty corporate garbage.
I think it was a money grab. The last good thing that they made is Tangled, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I think Frozen was good. I think it just got overhyped.
Yeah, it got way overhyped. Like, it was not... People came out like Frozen was this big original thing that... Like, but it really wasn't. Like, it was just like...
I mean, it broke from traditional
Disney
stuff,
but
which
it didn't...
was fine, but then they didn't stop
doing that. Yeah.
So it's like, Frozen was also... It was good, but it should have been like WALL-E. It should have been kind of a standalone. Mm-hmm. We're breaking from our thing. We're going to do this new thing. And then we're going to go back to, what we normally do.
It's just frustrating because you have that stuff, right? And then you had something like Treasure Planet, which actually was an original idea. Super original. Super creative.
Love that movie. And it got
buried. And it got buried because the Disney execs sabotaged it to play it safe.
Yep. Yeah, it all just goes back to that fear. And
Yeah.
It's the same in the publishing world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why you walk into Barnes & Noble and you get the selection that you get. It's
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's not just... It's not totally on the artists when they play it safe,
Mm-hmm.
on the creators and the writers. It's also, like, they're playing it safe because they're trying to get published, or they're trying to get a movie or a show
Yeah.
made. And in order to do that, you have to satisfy the people in the production studios
Mm-hmm.
or in the publishing houses.
Yeah.
And those people are going to be looking for very specific things,
Mm-hmm.
and what they're looking for is pretty much what is already out there, because that's what sells, because that's the only
Yeah.
thing that they give you to buy. And so it's just this vicious cycle of
Mm-hmm.
it's all designed, well, I don't know if it's intentionally designed this way, but the way it's designed, the consequence of it is that creativity, like true creativity and risk-taking and being adventurous in your stories, like Oda is with One Piece, that has just gotten crushed down into the ground. You can still find it in indie spaces, but
Yeah.
you have to really go digging and look for it. You
Yeah.
cannot walk into a Barnes & Noble for the most part and find anything that's going to be breaking the mold, because the publishing houses won't let it. Same with TV and movies.
Yeah.
28 years later is
Mm-hmm.
one of the very notable exceptions.
Yeah.
But it's rare.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't think of anything else. Like, the last movie that I really, really enjoyed in the theaters was Twisters.
Yeah. Twisters.
And there was,
Yeah.
It was just a good movie. It was entertaining. It wasn't super original or anything,
No.
but I loved the characters. I liked the story.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the tornadoes. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
I love storms. So, whatever. But before that, it was probably Maverick
Yeah.
was the one that I enjoyed the most. And then before that, dude, I don't even know. There was such a
Such a
there
dead
for
period.
years.
Yeah.
Like, everything that came out was either barely passable or a steaming dumpster fire.
Or it's just
Like,
one of those things where you're like, I saw it. I don't need to see it again.
Right, and I forgot about it.
Yeah, and I forgot about it.
Like, there's a few things in those years
Yeah.
where I went and watched it because I like going to the theater, but
Mm-hmm.
if I probably don't even remember that it exists.
Yeah. No, like, it's just... I had a thought, but I can't remember what it was. No, it's going away.
Think about it for a sec. I have to pee. Can you pause?
Yeah, I'll pause it.
Okay. Just cut that bit out. Or don't. I don't care.
And we're back. I remembered what I was gonna say.
Oh, good.
Because, here's the thing, so... You can be in a completely unoriginal, right? Everything's been done in this world that, or like genre that you could possibly think of, right? But you can still bring a new spin to it and a new twist that makes it interesting and, in my opinion, original. Because, again, originality is something that I have never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna gush about Worm again because it's me. So Worm is a superhero story. It is in a world where superheroes, it's basically like My Hero Academia a little bit, where heroes are just accepted and expected, right? They're like, if something goes wrong, there's most likely going to be a hero team on its way to come deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also a little bit like Watchmen, where they're regulated and there's very strict laws, and, they have the government breathing down their neck the whole time because safety precautions and, red tape and all that stuff. But the thing that Worm does that makes it so much more interesting than even Marvel or DC or Image or any of those other, superhero plots, even Invincible, in my opinion, it's better than Invincible, is that it puts us in the shoes of someone who you would never expect to be a superhero, which is a complete and utter introverted, uh, hates herself most of the time teenager who is consistently bullied, but has these dreams of becoming a superhero. And you might be going, well, that's Izuku Midoriya from My Hero Academia. Not exactly, because while Izuku Midoriya always has hope, Taylor from Worm almost never does. But she still fights for it. And she still fights to become a superhero. And it's done in this super well written, just powerful way of how she gets there. And it makes it where the characters are all super unique and fun and interesting and different. And the main character herself, I never got bored with her. So it's just, you have to, if you're going to be writing in a genre, if you want to make it original, you just gotta, in my opinion, you just gotta put in the work to make it interesting. And I think interesting almost feeds into originality. If you can make it interesting and dynamic and super just like grips at your heart and soul and doesn't let go and makes you want to like, oh god, I need to know what happens next. I feel like you've achieved originality because you're making someone feel a way about a story that they already have seen before. But you're making them feel something new about it, like it's their first time reading through something like this. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's a pretty good kind of addition to what you were saying. Just in terms of that, mm-hmm. of storytelling. And the cool thing about Worm is that he literally, the guy who writes it, he literally doesn't have an outline. He just writes the chapter, and he's like, this might be cool. Like, he has a plan in his head, but for the most part, he writes completely by the seat of his pants. Just, I am going, okay, this is what this chapter is going to be about. And then, like, he comes up with something, like, mid-chapter. He's like, okay, I'll bring that up later in another chapter. Like, and he'll just keep writing. He just lets his mind kind of flow onto the page. And he never took, he's like, I never took a creative writing class. I never got educated on that thing. All I did every single day was just, I wrote for about 3 hours a day. And then I would toss it away. If I didn't like it, I would toss it away. Or I would try to improve on it. But if it couldn't be improved on, I would just toss it away. And it got to the point where she's like, well, I need to actually start publishing something. So he started making Worm. And he's like, well, this is going to be a trial and error type of deal. Where if I suck at it, I suck at it. But I'm going to try to write it anyway. And I think he succeeded. Mm-hmm. Personally. But it's just like there are original stories to be told. No matter the genre. It's just you have to get people engaged in them. Otherwise, nobody's gonna care, and everyone's gonna look at it as being unoriginal. Mm-hmm. So it's just it's just playing with the different spins and different twists and turns that you can apply to a story. Mm-hmm. That'll make it unique, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think, I mean, probably my final thoughts on originality is just, don't worry about it too much. Don't go chasing originality for the sake of originality. I think that's where you run into a lot of problems, is when you're trying to be different for the sake of being different.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you want people to read your story and be like, oh my, I love this. This isn't quite something that I've seen before. I think you have to also get out of your head and quit trying to follow the formulas, quit trying to write for the big publishing houses and the big production studios, and take risks. I mean, don't write in fear, or don't create anything in fear. Create it with some boldness and a little bit of zero fucks to be given about whether it pans out or not in a big way. I think the artists and the authors and any creator that can just kind of get out of their own heads and create something because they want to create it, and they're not really too worried about, oh, well, this doesn't really fit the hero's journey. Well, who cares? Screw Blake Snyder or whatever the hell his name was. And his cat book. I love cats. I do not love that guy. Forget him. Forget him and his 27 plot points or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Forget him and his, by, page 10, this is about where you should be.
Yeah,
forget about
Don't
that.
worry about the 3-act structure or this is the curve, right? Or whatever.
Right. Or if you want to use
the peak, or, whatever. It's
the climax.
Peak or climax.
If you want to use it as a skeleton or as a starting point, that's fine.
But
don't let it confine your ideas into like, oh crap, I have this cool idea for this over here, but it doesn't quite work with this structure.
Yeah.
As long as the parts of your story work with each other, I think that's all that really matters. At the end of it. Like, nothing about... Well, I can't say nothing, but there's so many times where Oda in One Piece completely breaks away from formula. And it works, though, because it works within his story. It works with his characters, it works with the world, it works with just what he's doing.
Yeah. Like Water 7 and Innie's Lobby is, in my opinion, when he really breaks the formula. And that's my favorite arc of the entire show. That is an arc that I can watch over and over and over again and never get tired of it because it's that good. Same with Marineford and Impel Down. Again, he completely broke from formula for those.
Yes.
But
from his own formula too. He has his own formulas. And Marineford and Impel Down, or I guess Impel Down and Marineford.
And then Marineford, yeah.
Really break away from that, within his own kind of his own setup, his own systems, right? Yeah. His own way that he normally does things, but it works really, really well. It's a great kind of midpoint.
Yeah, and that's also Impel Down and Marineford. That's like one of the most memorable moments in that entire series. That's what people. If you go on like the message boards or whatever of One Piece, that's what people usually reference whenever they're trying to get people to watch like One Piece or read it. Is just like, you just got to get to Marineford and Impel Down. Like, that is
which is a long ass way.
Which is a long ways, but it's still good.
It's still worth it.
It'll catch your attention while you're getting there.
Yeah.
But that is definitely, in my opinion, like that is. In terms of drama and storytelling and just that oh god, I need to see what happens next. That is like the peak so far of One Piece right there. Is like absolute, you're on the edge of your seat, especially the first time watching it, where you're just you're biting your nails.
I screamed at the TV so many times. Just run! Yeah. Damn it!
But it's so good. Yeah, I agree with you. I think just originality will come when you write what you want to write.
Yeah, when you just relax.
Because all of our brains work differently. All of our ideas are different.
Put down the how to write a book.
Yes, or blog or whatever your video.
Put it down. Yeah. Stop worrying about it.
Yeah.
Go watch movies. Go read books and write. Would you quit eating your foot? You quit eating your foot. Hey? Thank you very much. Come over there and boop your nose. Yeah, quit read the books you want to read, watch the stuff you want to watch, enjoy the stories and then go write something that you would like to see.
Yeah.
And just a quick addition here, another really recent example of something that was very original that I had not seen before, that again fits within my definition of originality, which is taking risks and being different, but not in an organic way, in a natural way, because that's what the story kind of calls for. It's 28 years later. I mean, you have almost 3 separate stories going on in that movie. You've got the first part with his dad. Why are you eating your foot?
She's like deep-throating her
Murphy.
foot.
Get your toes out of your mouth, you weirdo. God. Dog, I swear. Don't look at me like that. She's like, are you guys almost done? I'm gonna go for my walk, damn it. But you've got the first part with his dad, which is like, kind of the... Hey, stop that! Stop it! Stop it! I'm gonna have to come sit by you and talk louder. Quit. Look, let me see. Did you ruin something? No, you look okay. Alright, quit that. But yeah, you've got the first part with his dad, where they're out on this hunting expedition, and it's, I mean, that, there's almost a complete story there. They go out, they risk everything, they make it back, they have the party. That part closes out, and as it closes out, it opens up to the second part of the story, which is the part with his mom. And then, you have all of that, and then you have that story kind of bleeds into the third, which for me is, with the doctor and then kind of the ending of everything. But it is not your standard story structure. It is not your standard, plot. I mean, plugging that movie into a plot formula would be tough.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. It would be. I mean, hell, I would even say even plugging 28 Days Later into a formula would be incredibly hard, because there's not really a second act, first act, third act. Not really. It's just moving from place to place and experiencing something different from each place. And then, the characters developing alongside that. The mansion scene, which if anyone has ever watched 28 Days Later, you know what I'm talking about. But basically, the final kind of climax, right, of that movie is one of my favorite parts ever. But it's not, you can't put that really in the top part. Because here's the thing, the plot structure thing never made sense to me. The 3-act structure never made sense to me. Because why are you gonna sit there and tell me that the climax should be dead center in the middle of the movie, and then it just kind of tapers off, and what does that even mean?
Well, if you look at the actual diagrams, you actually have it goes up and then it goes down very fast.
Yeah.
So the time that you spend on the stuff after the climax it doesn't actually put it in the middle.
Yeah.
But it's, we can do a whole podcast on formulas.
Yeah.
And plot structures if you want. But yeah, can you maybe kind of plug it in there? Yeah,
maybe.
There are definitely points that would be easier to plug into it than others.
Yeah.
And it does have a climax. And
it
does have a resolution. It has a denouement and everything at the end, but it's not married to it, though.
No.
It's not holding so tightly to it that it ends up killing everything that's interesting and cool about it. That's the thing, is you can use the formulas, you can use the archetypes as, it's like Barbosa. They're more like guidelines than actual rules.
Yeah.
They're not something to be married to. They're a tool to use to kind of get you going maybe in the right direction. But maybe you get partway through working on your stuff and you're like, you know what? This ain't working for me. We're going to do something completely off the wall. And that's fine too.
Yeah. And I mean, also I feel like video games kind of prove that whole thing wrong anyway, because video game plot lines are completely breaking out of formula, but yeah, we'll talk about that more on the formula episode that we do. But yeah, no, in my opinion, in conclusion, I feel like just originality will come from what you want to write, because we're all different. We all have different ideas. We all have different things that we want to see or that we want to create.
That's the key, though. What you want to write, not what you think other people want to read.
Yes, exactly.
Or watch.
It has to be what you want to write. And I do agree with this quote. There's an audience for everything. Like, people, there will always be people who are wanting to watch or read whatever you put out. There's always going to be an audience for it. And
I was just going to look at fan fiction.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
The
worst written fan fiction still has fans.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, like, I used to read a lot of fan fiction back in the day, and yeah, there's some really good ones still, but there's some really bad ones. But people still read them. People will still read them and comment on them and like them and upvote them and everything. So, yeah, like, there's always going to be an audience for it.
Right.
And, yeah, like, for example, Jordan and I are doing a very off-the-wall concept and... Joint project and storyline. And it's super off the wall.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
But I love it.
But yeah, I love it, and it's something that both of us really want to create and really want to see, because it's an idea that we've had in our minds for freaking years. And now we're actually kind of putting it into motion and trying to create it. So.
Yep, but it's the thing we want to create. It's
yeah.
Not, I would love it if it got a big audience, and if people fell in love with it, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But I'm not creating it for that purpose.
No. It's for creative release more.
It's because it's a freaking cool,
badass
story, and I want to see it, and no one else is going to write it, so I'm going to have to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
You and I are going to have to do it.
No one else is going to write no one else is going to write a Bronze Age fantasy. Like, nobody really
that's yours.
Does that.
That's
but
not our
yeah,
joint project.
no, that's not our joint project, but that's what I want to do.
Yes,
I want to write that.
No one else is going to do it, so you might as well do it.
Because I love that sort of Mesopotamian, like, culture.
Yep.
From those times. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yep.
Yeah, any other thoughts?
Not that won't take us down another 30-minute rabbit hole. So okay. My dog needs a walk. So.
All right. Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed this second episode of the Plot Pilled podcast. If you guys liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys have any ideas for anything that you guys want us to talk about, or if you guys even want to throw your hat into the ring and talk about what you want to talk about down in the comments, feel free.
Give us your takes on originality.
Yes. What do you think originality is? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's dying? Do you think it's still well and alive? Please let us know. We just started our gameplay series. The first thing that we're doing is Yakuza.
I'm sorry, I was really tired for the first episode, so I was really boring and weird and said weird shit, so...
It's okay.
Apologies.
No, it's alright.
My dog's going through cancer treatments. I'm exhausted.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we're going to be doing more recording on that, and then I'm going to edit it all together, and we're just going to start releasing those. And also, I will be going live. I'm going to be trying to do it every weekend, Friday and Saturday nights. I am planning on playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I've never played a Final Fantasy game before, so it's going to be my first ever time going into it. And I'm very excited. So the links for those will be down in the description below as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll see you guys next time.
Later.
Bye.